Hello all, welcome to our ZoidRush video. I'm your host, TMZoids, and today we're going to be talking about Mixer. I know, it's been a while. I know, I do this every time. I'm like, I'm going to make a lot of videos, and then nothing happens. The content creator life. But anyway, one thing that I was itching to make a video. I was like, what do I want to make a video on? And then I had a lot of ideas. And then I was like, those are all old and not relevant anymore. Trying to keep up with the times. You know, I'm still hip. I'm still cool. Jesus. Alright. Well, that's why I don't make that many videos in the first place. Anyways, we're going to be talking about Mixer today. Why we're going to be talking about Mixer is because it seems to be a big topic. Can Mixer take over Twitch? Is this going to be the end of Twitch? Is Mixer actually an option? Yada, yada, yada. And I already see a bunch of memes and all this stuff, and there was a lot of hype when Ninja left, and then, of course, now Shroud going to Mixer. Everybody's like, oh my god, this is it. So I'm going to talk about the good and the bad about Mixer and just in general. So let's rewind a little bit here with Twitch. Twitch wasn't the streaming service that we think about. And I'm not talking about YouTube or even Facebook. Before Twitch, there was actually streaming services that were used by professional League of Legends players. And I think this is where I'm going to start because I think it's really important. Where in old days, when CLG was streaming, you had Double Lift and Hotshot GG. Those two that come to mind off the bat there were streaming not on Twitch in a different service, which was not as popular as Twitch, or as Justin TV, I guess, now known as Twitch. Was streaming on a different server because of their contract. Those people wanted to switch to Twitch. They wanted to stream on Twitch. They wanted their content on Twitch because it was a better move. Just to be seen more, it was just a better service overall, which was when Twitch was offering them at the time. And this is before even Amazon bought them out and yada, yada, yada. And this has nothing to do with, affiliates or partners or any of that jazz. Just talking in general. So that, I think, even though there was a drive for Twitch to grow, and it did. I mean, you see leaps and bounds of records being broken. I think the first thing that I can think of off the top of my head when I think of something very popular, which is weird, is Caseytron. She just took the storm of Twitch. I remember when Twitch was still growing and I was still new to Twitch, and any stream that I went to, any stream that I thought went to, everybody was like, what you think of Caseytron, the streamer? And the streamers are like, I don't care. What the hell is she doing? Blah, blah, blah. Whoever had their things going. And then, of course, you can't forget that Tyler One produced and created his own League of Legends tournament and kind of Worlds imitation there and just blew it out of the park. That's another thing that comes to my mind when I think of Twitch. And of course, last but not least, then you had all those famous people streaming with, you had Drake and Ninja and all this jazz, and just so many other moments. I shouldn't even say. I mean, these are big moments for Twitch. And that is just one thing that, Twitch has behind them. Twitch also is probably the most viewed, especially during the League of Legends Worlds. For esports, if you think of it that way, I think they had as many people, if not more people, watching for esports game than the Super Bowl when Worlds was on a few years ago. I don't know about this year, but definitely in the past years that has happened. But I wanted to start with the pro players is because I found it interesting. When Ninja and Shroud went to Mixer, a lot of people were upset. I found a lot more angry, frustrated reactions from people that are saying they're a sellout and that they just did it for the money and they don't really care about streaming and they don't care about the people and blah, 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 blah. And before we really dive into that, like I said, I just found it interesting that there was no stigma and there's no thing to really keep when people were switching to Twitch, or I didn't remember there being a big stigma. I think people wanted them off the other platforms they were streaming on, which I'm drawing a blank out right now. But I know before Twitch, other people were streaming elsewhere, and Twitch was a growing platform and more successful platform at the time. Now, that being said, since Twitch has gotten very successful and, like I said, reached all these landmarks and it became like a normal thing, a lot of people wanted to stream, become a streamer, became a pro player, all this stuff was still growing and still a thing, that the outside world, the real world. I don't even know why I put that in quotes, but the outside world was not really accepting yet, but it was becoming more and more popular, becoming more a trend, and now we see esports on ESPN and all that jazz. Twitch is just where everybody thought of, and I've talked about this with other people. When you think of streaming, and that's one of the big things when it comes to Mixer and Twitch, is that when you think of streaming, and I told people this before, people who don't even know about streaming, they will either name Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Those are going to be your top three people because they just are known for videos. They're known for streaming. They're known for videos. They're known for content. They know about people that may be on Twitch, may be on Facebook. For example, Ray William Johnson used to be on YouTube. Now he's on Facebook. He makes Facebook content all the time. That's where he went now. And Facebook and YouTube are still beating out Mixer. Now, that being said, switching over to Mixer is not a bad thing. And I think there's just a lot of stigma, a lot of confusion, and a lot of people think it's just a greedy thing. Sure, I'm sure Mixer is paying Shroud and Ninja a good chunk of money. And the problem with that is nothing, really. I mean, they took a deal, and you have to keep in mind that I think both of those people have hit a peak on Twitch, and that's where a lot of people don't understand is that you can't grow any bigger than you already are. There's no competition for those people, supposedly, at this time, that would compete and give them more viewers than they can already get, more money, more, brand deals, more this, more of that. Whereas Mixer is just a new opportunity. You could say, I streamed on Twitch, now I'm on Mixer, and now people that are branching out to Mixer, maybe Microsoft has exclusive deals for them, can work with them with certain things with that. Who knows, build them a super cool leak computer, or Microsoft might start pumping out their own, gaming stuff or specific stuff that they want to focus on for gaming, and maybe they'll be the first to sneak peek that and have deals that way. And working with Microsoft, let's be honest, if you're going to work with Microsoft or Amazon, you always want to work with the more computer savvy people, in my opinion, because there's potential there, potential for growth. And when people get mad thinking that they did this for just money, which I guess they did, but you also have to keep in mind that with that stigma aside, I think it gives a false hope, false idea for a lot of people. They're like, I'm on Twitch and I'm getting 3 viewers. If I switch to Mixer, maybe I'll get 5 viewers. And then you switch, and then you're not doing as successful, if not any better. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people are nervous about. If you're a smaller streamer, do you switch? Do you make the switch? And I think that's where Mixer is going to lack, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because Mixer needs more little people to balance out the big people, if that makes sense. Because you can take all the big names. I can take Ninja, I can take Shroud, I can take, I don't know, a lot of people are saying Pokemon's next, and maybe Tim Tim is going next, or this person in Lapoy, or whatever. All these people are going, but all those big names, you're going to have all these people watching the top, but when they're not streaming or when they're not creating content on your thing, you really don't have anybody to bounce off of. That's what's nice about Twitch, is that it's such a wide pool of people. You can go to your small streamers and you can communicate with your small communities and hang out with them, or you can go to the big streamers and be like, okay, well, I can learn something if you're more of a professional player. Like you have Scar with TFT, he's streaming on Twitch, he's got the TFT, and of course he's not the only one on TFT, but he's streaming, making it more of a popular game, as some people would claim it, than it originally was. You could go to professional, like I said, esports is still being streamed on Twitch, and then you have all these other things that you got to keep in mind, and let alone the small streamers. And I just think it gives a false sense to a Twitch streamer that is not doing well. We've seen this time and time again. A lot of people, and even with YouTube and Facebook, we saw where you go to Facebook, you go to YouTube, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm not doing any better. Oh, this is not working. Oh, maybe I'm not doing something right, and then you just give up completely. I think still people need to keep in mind, and if you switch to Mixer or wherever, people need to keep in mind that you need to be consistent. You need to be passionate about what you do. You don't want to do it. I know I chuckle, but you can't be money driven, and you really need to be passionate about what you do and be persistent and stick with a schedule and stick with a genre that you enjoy. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. It's like people say they do that, but it takes a long time. I mean, you could switch something and you find your niche all of a sudden, and then you just blow up. A good example is one streamer I knew. They went from playing League of Legends, which I was like, oh, okay. They were doing okay in League. There's tons of people watching League of Legends, big pool, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna stream old school RuneScape, and they shot up. Like they were over like 100 viewers every day, which is, you're like, oh my god, that's nothing compared to some people. But they made partner, and they constantly playing RuneScape now, and their numbers are just growing, and they're staying consistent, and they're growing to a bigger population than they were playing League of Legends. Same thing with other people. I've seen people play all kinds of different games, and then they switch to World of Warcraft, and they're a hardcore raider, and their numbers were good. Some people really hated WoW in their community, but overall they were doing, a lot of people came in, they wanted to know how the new raid was. A lot of the people were from the guild that she was in, and it was a growing community. And then you swap and try something different. So that's the big thing, is that streaming is very volatile. It changes. It's in waves, and a lot of people, I think, don't understand that. But for the people that are going to Mixer, I don't think that they should be, treated any differently, or that they're disregarded. If anybody that's switching to Mixer, I think it's a good idea. I think you should go for it. Why not? It's a new, different platform, so I think you have a better chance because there's less of a pool of people probably doing what you're doing over there, but you have a bigger chance of growing on that platform. And you're competing for those views that swapped over there for those big names when they're not streaming. When Shroud and Ninja aren't streaming, I mean, are they going to go back to Twitch? Or are they going to come and maybe, I'm liking Mixer, I'm not going to swap over, I'm going to check what Mixer's about, and maybe stumble upon you or anybody. So, overall, I think that Mixer gets a bad rap, but I think it's good to have friendly competition with Twitch, and I think a lot of people don't like change, and that's where this is all stemming from. And there's this stigma that Mixer's just spending all this money and all this effort to pull all these big names over here, which is true, but you also have to keep in mind that, like I said, there needs to be some competition. And if you're going to use YouTube and Facebook to compare it to Twitch, I mean, they're not really going after Twitch. I mean, maybe YouTube is, with YouTube Gaming, their streaming service, maybe, but Facebook's not really. Facebook's doing their own thing and having their own issues politically, and YouTube's for alternating and changing and having their own problems when it comes to advertisements, and as you guys heard, the adpocalypse for the 40th time. So every time that something happens on YouTube and it hits the news, all the rules and regulations change. So it's really hard to be fit in this cookie cutter that YouTube gives you, whereas Twitch gives you this opportunity, which I find it funny enough, is because I want to go to Twitch to YouTube, is that Twitch, there's no cookie cutter. You will find you find your own niche. You do your own thing, and some things are very popular and some things aren't that popular. So for the people that are switching to Mixer, I was going to say Twitch again. When people that are switching to Mixer, go ahead, switch over, try it out. For people who are hating on people for going to Mixer, swapping people over, the big names going over to Mixer, I mean, like I said, I think it's a good idea for Twitch to have friendly competition. And the same thing, there's nothing that really competes with YouTube, but Facebook videos. and that's it. Like that YouTube, when you think of videos, you say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to YouTube." You're like, "Oh, nobody can complete with that." People have tried them before, but that does not mean people can't try, and there's an effort there. So I think that's the big thing that people need to remember, focus on. And like I said, if you just don't get lost in this idea because you switch over to Mixer does not mean you're going to blow up. Doesn't mean like your content or you as a person are going to be attracted to 20,000 people watching you, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, see, I did it. I went to Mixer. I knew it was just a platform. You do have a better chance for people to notice you, but you also have to keep in mind, even though Twitch is such a large pool of people and so versatile and different streamers, and there's a lot of big names on Twitch, does not mean you cannot get noticed, because there's a lot of times where people are like nobodies and all of a sudden they get noticed. And it happens. It just like that. You find your niche and you just keep riding the wave. Anyways, pretty much, like I said, Mixer people, you keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you, Shroud. I'm proud of you, Ninja, for making the switch. The stigma is going to be the stigma, but I think, like I said, they both hit their peak, and there's no real competition for them specifically on Twitch, whereas others can compete and still work to the top and get more out of Twitch, in my opinion. But who knows, maybe Mixer will be like, hey, we'll give you so much X amount of money, they'll come over. But like I said, Mixer's also owned by Microsoft, so there could be potentials in the future down the line, and that's what I'm kind of excited to see, is like maybe now Ninja can work with Microsoft and create a new product. Maybe Ninja will, show off some new technology that Microsoft's creating. Who knows? We'll see. It's just like all the silly comms thing, Discord is the most successful, but you still had Skype in the past. You had Discord. I just said Discord. Raid Call. You had TeamSpeak. All these different things. Ventrilo. You had all these different things. Everybody used their own things if you rated or played video games or this, that, or the other thing. So, nothing new here. Mixer people, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll see if they give Twitch a run for their money. Anyways, that's all. Until next time, if you enjoyed the video, I gotta do this. Make sure you like the video, eh? And if you really like my content, click subscribe and get more of these types of videos in the future. You know what I mean? And here comes the end credits now for another video you can click on if you lasted this long. If you lasted this long, leave a comment. I can't. Oh, God. Goodbye.